I want to take a little time to report to our Rotarians about our food projects. And our district leadership team has concentrated on food projects the last few months, the last months of Kurt Harper's year, and the beginning of this year because of the pandemic. And we know that the food stability was a problem for many more of our citizens in our local communities than it had been in the past. In fact, at the height of the pandemic, I've heard that it was 150% more usage of food pantries and food banks than the prior year. That has gone down somewhat, but it's still a great need. In fact, they still say that 1 in 6 Americans has a food challenge as far as having enough nutritious food to keep them sustained. So the district leadership team, we were aware that there were grants, $25,000 grants available through Rotary International, but those were much sought after, and our first attempt to receive one of those was not successful. So we looked at our funds and we saw that we had a fair amount of reserve from prior years' district designated funds that came back from the Rotary Foundation. So we allocated a little over 50,000 to food, and we also had a few expenses as far as getting that food distributed out around the district. That particular project, I believe we had 6 drop spots around the district, and F&A Food Sales from Concordia picked up the food from the outreach program and brought that out to our district. The outreach program was started by Rotarians and still operated by Rotarians. It started in the Des Moines area, continues to operate worldwide. And they provide pre-processed packaged food, often in what are called pantry packs. And you can see in the pictures what those boxes look like, kind of like a big shoe box or boot box. And those contain 7 different meals, from oatmeal to mac and cheese to Spanish rice, a number of different things. Very tasty. They worked with Iowa State University to make those tasty and nutritious. They have lots of micronutrients. And each one of those 7 meals provides 6 meal servings. So every one of those boxes has 42 meal servings in it. After F&A picked up the first batch of food, we got that out to Russell. Russell got it out to Great Bend. We got it out to Hayes. We got it out to Colby. Got it to Sublette, and got it to Wichita area. And from those hubs, it was picked up and spread out to all 60 of our Rotary clubs throughout the district. The first time, we wanted to make sure that every community received food, and rather than trying to prorate among communities, we felt like the smaller communities might have lesser resources in that regard. So each club got an identical batch of 50 of these pantry packs. The second project, we were able to get a $25,000 grant from the district. And so we put that out to all of our clubs, and we asked the clubs to opt in if they felt like their club, their community was still needing food. And we had 39 clubs out of the 60, including the E-Club. So we had 39 clubs that opted in. And so we were able to put in a little bit of additional district money and provide another 50 boxes to those clubs for the most part. That distribution is now almost complete. And I believe that both drives were successful. And I want to share a quick story after thanking everyone that took part in that. Everyone did a great job, and a lot of clubs picked up food for other clubs in their region and helped make it easier so that less miles had to be driven, which only makes good sense and good stewardship. But I have one special story that I want to share, and that is about the Great Bend Club. Chad Stephan was the president of the Great Bend Club for the first food drive. And Gail Sandy is the president of the club now for this second project. She was the point person. But when Great Bend received their food, and they received food for a number of other clubs as well, they contacted their food pantry and asked them if there was a strong need for the food in their community at that point in time. Food pantry informed them that they were fairly well stocked at the time. So the Great Bend Club reached out to 2 other smaller communities in Barton County, where Great Bend is located, and split the food between those 2 communities. And neither one of those communities happens to have a Rotary Club. And that's fine. That's perfect. That's the Rotary way. So just want to congratulate them on that, and everyone who took part. And I hope that everyone feels good about being able to provide some food for our neighbors, the people that we live with, so that they're able to keep going during these very difficult times. And you can see some of the pictures. You can see, I think Great Bend gave an additional, maybe it's Central National Bank gave an additional $100 to the food bank. And I know that there were a number of efforts by clubs throughout the district to help their food banks, food pantries, church food pantries, other resources that weren't actually a part of this. We were just trying to supplement what was available. So again, thank you all very much for being a part of that. The other part of the food projects I want to mention is that last night in Newton, we had a food packaging project. Again, we partnered with the outreach program, and our local representative for outreach is Isaac McNary. Isaac is a Rotarian in the El Dorado Club. So again, that Rotary connection. Isaac helped organize, coordinate, spearhead a project last night at Kansas Electric's warehouse in Newton. And we had close to 60 people, including friends of Rotarians and family members of Rotarians, who showed up to participate in those food processing lines. We had 5, I believe we had 5 lines going, and the first shift from 5 to 7 packaged 10,000 meal servings. The second shift from 7 to 9 packaged an additional 9,000 meal servings. And on the second shift, we didn't have quite as much time because we asked Isaac to share about the outreach programs work around the world, and especially in Tanzania, where they have done all kinds of wonderful things with safe water for communities, providing portable and self-standing filtration systems that he was able to demonstrate for us. He took some pond water from his own pond and ran it through, and it was actually drinkable when it was done. So it's a tremendous thing. We want to thank everyone who took part in that project, and we especially want to thank the Newton Rotary Club and President Chris Conradi. He and Kent Erb and Rod Cry were very involved with that. And Rotarian Greg was the disc jockey for us, and took requests, but he did such a great job that he got hardly any requests. So that's kind of an ultimate compliment to a DJ. So we had a lot of fun. A meal was served, which was prepared by the Bread Basket, a German restaurant there in Newton. The box lunches were great. And I saw a lot of smiles underneath the masks. I have a detector that I bought on Amazon that allows me to see when people are smiling underneath a mask, and it was pretty much universal. So it was a great time.